Welcome to The Premiere, the place where you always find what to watch without wasting time searching. Today, we are ranking 13 recent movies already available in good quality. Action, science fiction, horror, animation, musicals, crime, and historical drama. Stay until the end, because the top spots can save an entire streaming night. Before we begin, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for your support. Number 13. Moana 2. We open with Moana 2, a sequel that does not need to be Disney's most perfect film to work as a solid family option. The movie sends Moana back toward the ocean, with a bigger mission, a new crew, and a sense of adventure that tries to push her beyond Motunui. It may not have the same surprise factor as the original, but it still has the feeling of travel, music, and discovery that makes audiences want to follow her again. Its value is very simple. It is easy to recommend. This is a safe choice for kids, for a relaxed afternoon, or for anyone who wants a colorful animated adventure without too much complication. Visually, it remains bright, polished, and clearly built for family viewing. Some songs may not land with the same force as the first film, but the affection for Moana and Maui helps a lot. It stays at number 13 because this ranking has bolder and more intense options ahead. But if we are talking about recent movies already available in good quality, Moana 2 does what it needs to do. It entertains, looks great, and gives broad audiences a comfortable adventure. Number 12. Wicked. Wicked is the big musical entry on the list, a film that takes a story millions already know and turns it toward the other side of the legend. Before the myths about good witches and wicked witches, the film focuses on Elphaba and Glinda, two very different young women whose relationship is shaped by ambition, rejection, power, and the need to belong. What can hook even viewers who are not theater fans is the size of the production. The sets, costumes, performances, and musical numbers are all designed to feel huge. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande give the film its emotional and commercial force. But the strongest idea is that Oz is not only magical, it is also full of prejudice and political pressure. It does not rank higher because its length and musical tone will not be for everyone. Still, as a spectacle available at home, Wicked is a very strong option. It has scale, emotion, big songs, and enough visual identity to make it worth watching properly. Number 11. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 expands the mythology for viewers already invested in Freddy Fazbear's world. The movie once again plays with animatronics, dark corridors, family secrets, and the idea that something designed to look harmless can become a mechanical nightmare. Its appeal is not really about winning over skeptics. It is about giving fans more of the world they came for. What makes the franchise work is not only the jump scare, it is the curiosity around what really happened inside the business, who is hidden behind each machine, and why the past keeps living inside those characters. For viewers who know the games, every detail can feel like a clue. For anyone who simply wants recognizable horror, the hook is clear. Giant mascots, neon light, and a threat that moves when it should not. It lands at number 11 because its strength is very fandom-driven. If the first film did not work for you, this one probably will not change your mind. But if you are already inside Freddy's world, this sequel gives you more darkness, more questions, and more reasons to distrust every plastic smile. Number 10. Conclave. Conclave proves that a movie does not need car chases to create tension. It begins with an elegant and dangerous closed-room situation, the death of a pope, and the gathering of cardinals who must choose the next leader of the church. What should be solemn slowly becomes a world of secrets, ambitions, silence, and suspicion. The film works because it understands the power of confined spaces. Corridors, rooms, votes, and quiet looks become pieces of a thriller where nobody wants to reveal everything. Ralph Fiennes holds the center with a controlled performance, while the ensemble turns every conversation into a possible trap. The question is not only who will be chosen, but what moral price must be paid to get there. At number 10, Conclave is the recommendation for viewers who want adult, elegant, dialogue-driven tension. This is not a film to watch while distracted. It rewards attention to details, pauses, and everything the characters refuse to say out loud. Number 9. Companion. Companion is one of the hardest films on this list to describe because it works best when you know very little. It starts with a couple, a luxurious weekend house, and an uncomfortable vacation atmosphere, but slowly reveals that underneath the surface there is a much sharper science fiction idea. Its strength is the way it controls information. The film does not explain everything immediately. It leads you through a story where each gesture can change meaning later. Sophie Thatcher carries the film with vulnerability, confusion, and discovery, while the story raises very current questions about control, desire, technology, and the difference between love and programming. It reaches number 9 because it is small in scale but very effective in concept. If you like thrillers that work better without spoilers, Companion is perfect. Do not search too much, just press play and let the movie do its job. Number 8. Nuremberg. Nuremberg is the most serious historical drama in the ranking. The film returns to a decisive moment after World War II when captured Nazi leaders had to face justice. But instead of looking only at the trial from the outside, the story focuses on the psychological conflict between those trying to understand evil and those who helped execute it from positions of power. The appeal is in the acting duel. Rami Malek plays the psychiatrist assigned to evaluate figures from the Nazi regime, while Russell Crowe plays Hermann Goering with a calculated and deeply uncomfortable presence. The film works when it shows that history is not a frozen museum piece, but a living warning about charisma, obedience, violence, and responsibility. This is not light entertainment, and that is exactly why it matters here. Nuremberg is for viewers who want weight, conversation afterward, and tension that comes not from explosions, but from listening to characters speak from very dark moral territory. Number 7. The Gorge. The Gorge has a premise that is immediately easy to sell. Two elite snipers guard opposite sides of a massive chasm without knowing exactly what they are protecting. Distance, isolation, and mystery turn a military assignment into something stranger because a human connection begins to grow between two people who were never supposed to become close. The film is interesting because it mixes several genres without staying completely in one lane. It can feel like a long-distance romance, a surveillance thriller, a military sci-fi story, and eventually a creature horror movie. Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy make the first half work through chemistry and small exchanges before the physical threat takes over. It lands at number 7 because it may not execute every turn perfectly, but the concept is strong and the visual scale is rewarding. If you want entertaining science fiction with romance, action, and a central mystery, The Gorge is an easy recommendation. Number 6. Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is a strange science fiction film with a very strong idea. A disposable worker who can die again and again because his body is replaced with a new version. Trouble begins when one copy survives and another has already been created to take his place. From there, the film turns an almost absurd premise into a satire about labor, identity, and powerful people treating human beings as replaceable material. Joon-ho is the main reason to pay attention. His films often mix uncomfortable humor, social criticism, and extreme situations, and here he uses space not only as a futuristic setting, but as a laboratory for inequality. Robert Pattinson has a lot to play with through different versions of Mickey, each carrying fear, exhaustion, and the need to keep existing. It reaches number 6 because it may not be the easiest sci-fi film, but it is one of the most interesting. If you want something strange, sarcastic, visually different, and outside the usual template, Mickey 17 leaves plenty to talk about afterward. Number 5. Sinners. Sinners enters the top 5 because it is the kind of movie that refuses to fit neatly into one box. It has horror, vampires, historical drama, music, crime, and a southern atmosphere that fills every scene with sweat, desire, and threat. Ryan Coogler builds a story of return, family, and community, then crosses it with horror that reveals deeper wounds instead of only chasing scares. Michael B. Jordan holds the center in a dual role that allows the film to explore loyalty, guilt, and different kinds of survival. But the atmosphere is what makes Sinners special. The blues, the night, the club, the community, and the idea that music can call both salvation and damnation. When a film blends genres this boldly and still feels coherent, it deserves attention. It sits at number 5 because this is not just a vampire movie, it is an experience with identity, style, and unexpected emotion. If you want horror with real personality instead of only jump scares, Sinners is one of the strongest titles in the ranking. Number 4. Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2 takes number 4 because it combines something very difficult, a huge family franchise with an accessible mystery and characters audiences already love. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde return to a city where every district can hide a clue, a conflict, or a visual joke, and this new case pushes them into parts of Zootopia they have not explored before. The strength of this sequel is the duo. Judy and Nick work because they clash, complement each other, and can support both comedy and adventure. The Animal City still offers strong visual opportunities, new species, new rules, and a world that can talk about prejudice, identity, and coexistence while still being entertaining. It ranks this high because it is a family option with massive appeal. It does not require complicated context, it looks great, and it can work for both kids and adults. If you want a recent movie to watch at home without risking a bad choice, Zootopia 2 is one of the safest bets. Number 3. Black Phone 2. Black Phone 2 reaches the podium because it understands that a horror sequel needs more than repeating the same formula. The first film left a very clear image: an impossible phone, children trapped in a nightmare, and a villain remembered through his mask, voice, and presence. This second part expands that fear into more supernatural territory and deals with consequences that remain afterward. Ethan Hawke's return as the Grabber is the obvious hook, but the more interesting part is how the story uses Gwen and her visions to open a new door. This is no longer only about surviving an abduction. It is about understanding why certain horrors keep calling even after they seem defeated. The winter camp, the dreams, and the black phone give the film a colder and more ghostly atmosphere. It sits at number 3 because it is a direct recommendation for modern horror fans. If you like the first film, this one returns to the same fear with a wider mythology. And if you simply want a recent horror movie that feels commercial but effective, Black Phone 2 can do the job very well. Number 2. Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary comes very close to number 1 because it has one of the most exciting science fiction premises in the ranking. A man wakes up alone on a spacecraft with unclear memories, far from Earth, and slowly realizes that his mission is not small. The survival of the planet may depend on him. That idea combines mystery, space adventure, and a very easy-to-understand urgency. What can make it special is that it does not seem interested only in spectacle. The story comes from Andy Weir, the author of The Martian, which already suggests a kind of science fiction where intelligence, practical problems, and survival matter as much as emotion. Ryan Gosling gives the film a human center, someone trying to remember who he is while discovering why everyone depends on him. It stays at number 2 because it is a very strong recommendation for fans of the genre. It has scale, mystery, adventure, and a brighter kind of science fiction. If you want a recent movie that mixes tension, ingenuity, and heart, Project Hail Mary may be one of the best current options. Number 1. The Rip. Number 1 is The Rip, because it has exactly the kind of premise that works for a streaming night. Miami cops, cartel money, an operation that spins out of control, and a team that begins to distrust itself once greed enters the room. It does not need futuristic worlds or monsters. It only needs millions of dollars placed in front of armed, exhausted people. The commercial hook is clear. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck together in a crime thriller directed by Joe Carnahan. The movie plays with loyalty, corruption, broken friendship, and the question that always works in this genre. What would you do if you found a fortune nobody was supposed to touch? The tension comes not only from criminals outside, but from the fear that someone inside the team may be the real danger. That is why it closes the top. The Rip is direct, dirty, intense, and easy to recommend to viewers who want adult action without too many complications. It may not reinvent the police thriller, but it has rhythm, major names, and a premise that grabs attention fast. For good quality streaming, it is one of the strongest choices on the list. And that was everything here on The Premiere. Now tell me which of these recent movies you are watching first, and which one you think deserves to rank higher. If you enjoyed this top, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss our next movie, series, and streaming recommendations. See you in the next video.